Hello and welcome to the inaugural podcast for the Hoops Banter Network. My name is Nick Volka, and today on the first show, we've got my pal, Golden State Warriors fanatic, Allan Huynh. Say hello to the people.
Hey guys, how's it going?
So today, Allan and I thought we'd get on here and just talk about some stuff about the NBA. It's coming up pretty quick here, about 2 weeks away, and just thought we'd come up with some topics and chat a little bit about some random stuff that's going to be interesting to us to monitor and watch throughout the year. So, Allan, how about you start us off? What's your first thing you're excited to watch?
Sure. Might as well get the big one out of the way, and that's Kevin Durant going to Warriors.
Yep, big news.
So I guess what I'm most excited to see is the Kevin Durant, Steph Curry pick and rolls. It's like probably the most unstoppable 1-2 punch there is in the league that I can think of, at least.
Yeah, it's gonna be scary. I mean, all those guys, Clay can set good picks. Iggy's a big guy. That killer lineup is now
death lineup 2.0 is like Steph Curry. There's Clay, Iggy, now KD, who can play the four and adds actually like a ton of rebounding and better defense than Barnes. Yeah. And then you have Draymond at the 5.
See, that's the thing. I mean, I've been a Thunder fan for a while, and especially last season. I mean, Durant was always better than average on defense, but last season, postseason, it was out of control. Sure. I mean, the Surge had taken the backseat, so Durant stepping up defensively, that really scares me because Draymond's he's up there 1-2 as best defender. Clay, one of the better 3-and-Ds. Iggy, we all know he can shut down LeBron at times. Steph's a minus, but I mean
they can all switch too.
Yeah.
Well, Clay, not so much Steph, but like from Clay, Iggy, KD, and Draymond, they all have huge wingspans. They're all similar size, strong guys, and they can just swarm you on defense. And it's gonna be fun to see.
I know. Now, moving like with the thought of the Warriors, I mean, everyone talks with the Warriors. We all know what to expect. They're gonna be the best team in the West. There's a pretty darn good chance they'll be back in the finals, and we all know what they can do. But what is the rest of the league doing to combat that? My first thing that I want to bring up is the Boston Celtics out east. We all know LeBron, six straight NBA finals. I mean, the guy's a beast. We all know that he can carry any team. But this Celtics team is interesting to me. I mean, with the way that the Warriors are now conceived and that death lineup we just discussed, I mean, I think their defensive 5 possibilities are real. I mean, just listen to this. Marcus Smart, Avery Bradley, Jay Crowder, Al Horford, and Amir Johnson. It's a little bigger with Amir and Horford running the 4-5s. The speed with Durant might be a challenge, but Smart and Bradley on that Clay Curry, that's interesting to me. I think that team can be really nice.
Marcus Smart. I still would put my money on the Cavs making the finals pretty much no matter what. But yeah, I agree. Marcus Smart is probably one of the better one-on-one defenders. He's just insanely pesky, really athletic, and he looks huge now. I don't know if you've seen him in the offseason.
He is, Matt. He's getting big. He's getting big.
He looks like a big boy. He's bigger than most point guards too. Like he's probably like 6'4", 6'5".
Exactly. I mean, like the lineup I just put out, great on defense, but offensively, I mean, yeah. Smart's got a ways to go, but even coming up against the Cavs, I mean, I kind of skipped ahead there, putting them straight to the finals in a matchup with the Warriors. But against the Cavs, I mean, Smart on Kyrie, Crowder with LeBron. I like definitely. It'll just depend on if Isaiah can.
Yeah, Al Horford actually adds a ton to them for on the defensive end. Actually, just because he can guard out on the perimeter as well. He can like go 1-on-1 with Kevin Love. Yeah, no, that's a great addition.
See, exactly. And Amir Johnson is underrated. I mean, got him for cheap this summer, and he can defend the rim. I mean, he's a good rim stopper, quick on his feet. This is a good switching crowd. I like it. But moving on, Allan, what's your next interesting tidbit?
I'm gonna go with Jeremy Lin running his own offense in Brooklyn.
We're talking Linsanity 2.0 in the Big Apple.
Linsanity, Lin back.
Yeah. Well, tell us about it. What are you thinking?
I don't know. I think he's just he's a really, really good point guard, and he hasn't really been given the chance to shine. And like any of the teams that he's been in. He was when he was on the Lakers, he did really well, but whenever he was going off, Bayern would just bench him inexplicably, just for no reason at all. And Charlotte, he actually did really well as a bench spark, and he played really well alongside Kemba Walker as well. And I think he really jump started his career again there.
See, as long as he doesn't bring the Mohawk back, I mean, I'm all for it.
I'm psyched. I'm psyched to see all his new hairdos.
I mean, Brooklyn, I'm sure they got some good hairstylists for him, but just stick away from that, folks, in the ball, buddy. I am excited. I mean, he's got his old head coach, Kenny Atkinson. He was the assistant coach or the associate coach for the Knicks. So I like him running the show there and just letting Lynn obviously take the offense because, I mean, who else? I mean, another one of the things I had written down, I crossed it off, but Brook Lopez, is he going to finally get traded? I mean, that's the only other focal point the Nets have. So
that's true. I really think that Lynn and Lopez would develop a pretty good relationship with each other.
I mean, it would be a good little pick and roll, pick and pop combo.
Healthy,
but yeah, I mean, that foot's always a nightmare. But see, Jeremy Lin, I am interested in that. I mean, they're still my 30th team. They're not going to win.
Oh, no, not at all.
They're not going to win close to 20, I don't think. But
I think Jeremy Lin might actually light it up. He worked on his jump shot in the summer, and in those first couple preseason games, he's looking pretty good. His release is a lot smoother. It's a lot tighter. Arc just super butter.
Yeah, whenever I think of Jeremy Lin's shot, he's that guy that when you're in middle school basketball, when you are told to put your hand in the bucket, that's how he finishes. He comes down and his hand is all the way pointed at the ground. It's pretty funny to see. But it's going to be interesting because, I mean, who else, as I said, who's going to play offense? Our team's just going to overload on him, come from the weak side as he drives. I think he could put up maybe 20, 18 to 20.
20 and, 20 and maybe 6 assists.
Yeah.
Pretty solid.
So, I mean, here, now you got me interested. Let's pull up the Brooklyn Nets depth chart and just see what we're working with. I'm beyond curious at this point. So we've got, let's see.
The GOAT, Anthony Bennett.
Oh, this is Anthony Bennett is on their team. I saw something today that was talking about how he was on a Shaq and the Fool ad or something saying don't watch Brooklyn Nets games this year. And obviously it's a joke. I'm sure Shaq made him do it, but all right, let's look at this team. So yeah, I don't these starters
I liked him in college.
He's good defensively obviously, but I mean, you got Randy Foye. He's old. He's not much left. The open threes he'll make them, but Trevor Booker, don't know if he's a starting power forward. Yogi Ferrell, never even heard of the guy. Bogdanovich is nice. I do like Karis LeVert. He's had some injuries, but he was good back in college. Other than that, I mean, Luis Scola.
There's too much Danovich. There are too many Danoviches. I get that. Bogdanovich is different from the Spurs guy. That Spurs guy is not even on the what's his name? Marjanovic?
Boban Marjanovic. Yeah, no, he's on my list. I like him. Okay. Thing is though, now I'm seeing this guy E. Makavicius. This is not a joke. His name is and he is ugly as sin. From Lithuania, Edžydaitis Makavicius. And you know what? With that being said, I think we got to move on from the Brooklyn Nets because they're pretty darn embarrassing. All right, well, that was you, Allan, with the last one. I'll go to my favorite team. Big loss this year, but also a couple big additions. Westbrook Oladipo. Are they the most athletic backcourt in this league?
Oh, for sure. Definitely the most athletic. I don't know how it'll work exactly. I know you're excited for them, and I'm a big Westbrook guy, and I love Oladipo too. I want a Magic Oladipo.
Yeah,
jersey.
This is true.
But I honestly don't know how they're going to mesh together. Of course, Oladipo and Russell have a lot of potential defensively. Yeah. But between the two of them, they don't have a ton of shooting, and I think that Oladipo operates a lot better with the ball in his hand as kind of like a second unit, kind of like bench scoring option. kind of like he did for the Magic.
I do agree with that. I mean, and that sucks because then my boy Cam Payne is going to get stunted in his growth a bit. But
Yeah.
I'm interested to see. I mean, yeah, you're right. The shooting, Westbrook's a career 30-something% shooter, low 31, low 30s, and Oladipo's never shown much. He always seems to make big threes against the Thunder when he was on the Magic. But
that game last season was wild.
Because that was the sequence. Oladipo hit the three, and then Westbrook hit the pull-up from 40 feet or whatever stupid Curry range.
Same team hitting threes together.
But see that team 1 through 3 is going to be Westbrook, Oladipo, and Andre Robertson. So
I mean, you gotta start. Nick just took a drink out of my water.
Parched throat.
But you gotta start Robertson over. Who's their other 3 options?
Singler, our $25 million 5-year man.
Yeah, you can't start him. Maybe
it's either that or Ersan Ilyasova coming down small. But that's I mean
their wing depth is looking pretty shallow.
No, the Thunder are an interesting team, especially. I mean, they're my favorite team. I'll be watching them no matter what. But I'm excited to see the Westbrook Oladipo thing. It's either going to be a success, or it could be a 50% winning season. Like, we might be struggling to get to 41 wins.
Totally. Can we talk about the Stash Bros?
Of course, yeah. Move on.
How do you think they're going to do?
Steven Adams showed that he could potentially be a top 5-7 center in the league.
Let's cool it a little bit. Top 10 for sure.
Yeah, but there's a lot of studs, but he's really as long as he can do those finishes around the rim. He's got big hands. He was he's throwing apples in a basket. Like it looked too easy for him in the.
He has a surprisingly soft touch around the rim.
See, now the question is Enes Kanter. I mean, he's great PER, good scoring averages last season, but they might need some wing help, and he's really might be the only asset
to trade away. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, like giving up Steven Adams, you'll probably get a lot, but you don't want to give him up. You just got Oladipo. You don't want to give up on Sabonis. Do like him, so you don't want to give up on him. And they don't really have much else. So Enes Kanter, I like him off the bench, especially. I don't think he should start, but he might be a trade guy going out of there.
And you know who I think that a lot of teams, well, 2 that I have in mind, are going to target is Rudy Gay, who has apparently been wanting a trade out of Sacramento, like he would want that. But I think Rudy Gay is a good trade target for the Thunder team, as well as I think the Clippers might go after him too.
Yeah, so the Clippers are they got a lot of wings. I mean, they have Wesley Johnson, they got Paul Pierce, Luke Richard Mbah a Moute, and they got Allen Anderson, who, I mean, he's old. But he can play a 3 through 4. He can hit threes. I do like him. It's a glut of small forwards, but with no real option. Like, you don't want any of those guys closing. They each have their 1 or 2 good things that they're good at. But Rudy is an interesting one because it'll just depend on if he's okay being a 4th guy or even a 5th guy on certain teams.
Yeah, I agree. But I think that after this stint with the Kings, I'm sure he's down for anything.
I mean, if I played in that organization, I'd do anything to get out. I'd take a cut. It wouldn't matter. I mean, because that's another thing I have on my list is just I wrote down Cousins trade rumors, but Rudy Gay too. He's been in them for years. Does DeMarcus Cousins finally escape? I mean, he's saying all the right things every time he re-signed the extension, but he's got to go.
Yeah, I don't know. That organization is just a mess right now. But I honestly really just think that he actually does like it in Sacramento, all the things he does for the community and stuff. So I feel like that might have a big part to play in it. But, I don't know. If they don't make kind of like a playoff push this year, I don't think they have the tools or the personnel to do it, but I don't know what's going to happen with him.
So the thing I keep thinking about is who says no to this trade? John Wall and Bradley Beal apparently have been, at each other's heads.
I think it's kind of BS though.
Could you imagine maybe Beal and an Oubre or even Otto Porter for DeMarcus? Do you think that trade straight up?
That is not.
That's not enough?
You don't trade away DeMarcus Cousins for that.
At a point, though, I mean, you kind of have to... Obviously, the Celtics and even the Nuggets only need a center, but they've got the best trade assets. I think a Wall-Cousins reunion could be coming.
That would be ridiculous.
I don't see I mean, I'd hope that John Wall wouldn't go to Sacramento because I really, with their ownership, I don't even want to see them succeed. I like DeMarcus. I think he's a great player, but I don't want to see him do it there.
Fair enough. But yeah, I think if I'm the Kings, that's just one player that I would not let go of is DeMarcus Cousins. You try to build around that. You try to make it work.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you have a top 10 guy. You kind of have to. You have to give it a shot. But I don't see it. I don't see it. And even just talking about them just makes me angry. Let's move on. What do you got next?
Excuse me. So I'm excited to see a Kobe-less, Byron-less Lakers team.
Ooh.
Yeah.
D'Angelo Russell.
They've got Julius Randle now, Clarkson coming back. And Brandon Ingram, my favorite player of the draft.
He's your favorite player?
Yeah.
There's I don't even know if he's in my top 5 of the favorite rookie class.
He looks. Of course, he needs to put on a little bit of weight, but that's what they said about Kevin Durant too. But he really does look like Kevin Durant reincarnated.
Yes, I mean Durant was small coming out of Texas, but he would dwarf Ingram now. If you had Texas Durant next to Duke Ingram's looking small. He's really small.
Oh yeah, he's tiny.
He when they were saying that Kristaps Porzingis is 2 years away from being 2 years away, and then of course he's surprised. It's because he was small.
Yeah. I think that now, especially with Ben Simmons' foot injury, I definitely think that Brandon Ingram has the most potential in this draft class for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Just for Rookie of the Year, or just
no, not for Rookie of the Year.
Just long-term potential.
I think he'll have a little bit of rough rookie year. Just adapting to how big and fast the NBA is compared to college. But no, I think overall potential, a couple of years down the road, he'll be a star.
You know, I do see him having a higher upside than Ben Simmons, just with the Durant. I mean, if the guy looks like Durant, somewhat plays like Durant, doesn't quite have the shooting, but could come. He has to have the highest potential.
He's got great shooting.
Durant was averaging 30 plus in Texas, though.
Okay,
so that's the only problem. But and even then, people were like, Greg Oden, Durant. But definitely, he has the best upside. I think the best rookie in this class this year is going to be a shooting guard. It's going to be Murray or Hield. Buddy time in New Orleans. I'm bought in. I'm in.
He's ready to go, especially if AD keeps getting injured. Yeah, Hield will pick it up.
I mean, Tyreek's out 4 to 6 weeks. Drew Holiday's always on a minutes restriction, it seems like, from now on, potentially for the rest of his career. Buddy Hield could be that. He's not a second. He could be a third option scorer with Davis so they can find one more piece.
No, I think he's such a good scorer. He is so crafty around the basket. He can flat out just shoot the ball.
That's true.
He's got that Steph Curry range.
Plus, he just seems like such a nice guy.
Totally.
I would hang out, have a beer with that guy in a heartbeat.
His
name is Buddy. He's Jamaican. He's got the big teeth that kind of make him look cartoonish. I like him. I like him a lot. But back to the Lakers. D'Angelo Russell is my most improved pick. Most improved. Okay. But that's because the most improved player is just the guy who goes from averaging 12 to 20.
Yeah,
it's CJ McCollum. I mean, you play 12 minutes a game, average 10. Now you get 36 minutes and you average 20.
Yeah, I'm definitely ready to see D'Angelo Russell unleashed.
I think
I'm not the biggest fan of his character. He seems kind of
he's kind of cocky. He's kind of a little shit disturber, but
I think the league kind of needs guys like that. It's more fun that way.
I mean, basketball players. I mean, same with football. All athletes. I mean, they're all cocky. We know some. We like you just know that, and I think the ice in my veins it's a cool little gimmick for him, and he might make a couple game winners and point at his forearm. But
I just like that young core that the Lakers have. They have D'Angelo. They've got Clarkson, who's still
Clarkson's great,
improving. They've got Julius Randle, who I think can become a really, really good two-way player.
So, two things about that. One, Julius Randle, I don't know what he is.
Yeah,
two, Jordan Clarkson might be the only guy that's dating a Kardashian/Jenner where it hasn't completely ruined him. I mean, he plays for the Lakers. They don't win anyways. But the Kardashian curse has not affected him yet. Plus Kendall, good for you, pal.
Plus they got Mozgov.
The worst contract.
What was it, like 16 million a year?
I think it was 18 or 17
that
or something. It was
insane.
I mean,
if guys like that can get that huge a contract.
And the thing about them is, or about him is, they're the Lakers, and they think that they can still attract big names. They sort of can, not really. Because they haven't shown anything. No one really wants to go there. They didn't even try to swing at Hassan Whiteside, even Festus Ezeli, Ian Mahinmi, all guys that are way better on both ends than Mozgov.
Festus
and they just
has
throw it out.
Excuse me, an injury history though.
I'd prefer to pay Festus, who I think only got 15 a year from Portland, take the risk than Mozgov.
I'm just salty about that finals performance.
Yeah, he was pretty crap.
I don't know why Steve Kerr played him. Anyway, let's not talk about that.
No. What do you got?
Was it me or no? It was you.
Okay, yeah, you want the thing. Okay, well, talking about being salty from a finals loss. How about the number 7 pick from about 6 years ago, Harrison Barnes, moving on to Dallas.
My boy.
He's clearly going to have a bigger role. Everyone kind of talks crap about him. I was like, you know what? Give him a chance. Another year. I don't know. I don't know about this guy.
No, I was always kind of a naysayer too on Harrison Barnes. I liked it whenever he hit big shots and whatever, but he played his role in Golden State. He had a very defined role. He did everything pretty okay, like above average, but nothing spectacular. I definitely don't think he can be a number 1 option on any team.
No. And with Dirk, he'll never be the number 1 option. Yeah. But the thing is, Wes Matthews injury prone. Now Bogut, decent
prone, before
the
that
ACL
injury,
thing.
Before that injury, he was known as Iron Man.
But
he didn't have any injuries.
He showed a bit of. He showed rust, obviously, but it was just the whole season where it was kind of like, Deron Williams older, Bogut a little injury prone older.
You just can never count out Rick Carlisle and Dirk
with those injuries.
They're gonna make the playoffs.
With those injuries, though, that means that he'll be thrust into, can you score us 20 to 23 a game? Yeah. And there's going to be some clankers out there in Dallas.
Oh, definitely.
Mark Cuban's not going to like it.
He cannot dribble the ball.
No. There's going to be nights where he shoots 4 for 21.
Definitely.
I foresee a couple of those, and I see Dirk, as nice as he looks out there with that floppy hair, he's going to be looking pretty pissed off. And he's going to be regretting giving Mark Cuban another chance and him swinging at Barnes. And that's all they get.
That's the best. I like Bogut, actually. That's a really good pickup for them. I actually totally forgot about that.
He's a great passer for them.
Great passer, great rim protector, and I think it's a pretty perfect partner besides Dirk.
Harrison. I'm really interested to see if they ever, I'm sure Rick Carlisle won't. He's a great coach, but will they ever throw Barnes 4, Dirk 5 5-man lineup out there?
That would be atrocious.
Could you imagine Deron Williams, JJ Barea? Who do they even have at the 3? I don't know.
Yeah, Parsons is gone.
So
they have that Powell.
No, Powell's a center. He's like a stretch 4-5 kind of guy.
Really?
But even he's good at defense. Okay, put Salah Mejri out there. That guy's a pylon. Put JJ, Deron, Harrison, Dirk, and Salah. Oh, if they were playing the Houston Rockets, it's over. Absolutely over. On to the Rockets, actually, though. What you think? Mike D'Antoni.
That was one of my points.
Offensive guru.
Is now a point guard.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. He always was a point guard.
Yes.
But now he'll have... I think we should just get rid of the whole position thing.
Oh, positionless basketball. That happened 5 years ago. Yeah, there's no positions.
The league is going. But, Mike D'Antoni, I think the Rockets are going to give up 110 points a night, but they're going to score 120 points every night.
Uh-huh. You see, that's like preseason games. They're averaging 118, 120. Like,
is that right?
They're putting up buckets. It's one of the things I had written down was, can Harden average over 10 assists?
Oh, definitely.
I think driving kicks. Ryan Anderson
in this like D'Antoni, super quick, because James Harden, he's one of the most skilled. He is like one of the most skilled players in the league. He's offensively, he is incredibly talented. Yep. But there are possessions where he just kind of dribbles it around the key a little bit, does a bunch of his fancy between the leg things, and then shoots a long two with 10 seconds still left on the shot clock.
It is true. I can't deny that. But the thing about this offense with D'Antoni, I think it's going to be so quick moving and fast paced.
Yes.
Steve Nash, when he played for Mike D'Antoni, would do the classic run down the sideline, run around, zigzag under the hoop with the ball. He's a smaller guy, quicker hands, but I can see Harden doing a similar kind of thing. Just sprinting around that floor, moving the ball. There will be times where they'll play him and Aaron Gordon at the 1-2. And Eric Gordon, I forgot about Eric Gordon. He's had some issues in the past, but he can be a solid player. He's a great shooter, and Ryan Anderson, Ariza.
Yeah, just surround James Harden with shooters and space, and I think he'll do well. I think that's the one thing that will help the Rockets is the pace that they play at, and I think Harden will play a lot faster. He'll make that first pass a lot quicker, and he's a really good and willing passer.
Is Capella ready to play 34 minutes a game? No, Dwight.
How old is he?
He's 22, maybe. Yeah. They still got to re-sign Marty Eunice, who D'Antoni will love. Marty Eunice stretches the floor, still amicable on defense.
Great low post scorer.
But Capella's clearly going to be their center. They got to have a rim protector that's always there.
Definitely. I think that's Demo's best role too, is kind of like a bench destroyer.
Exactly, like a bench guy, a bench spark that stretches the floor and does his thing. But yeah, I'm interested to see them for me. Trying to predict the West this year is tough, but
it really is. Outside of the top three,
the Clippers are in there for sure. But the Rockets could be 10. The Rockets could be 4th.
Yeah,
they could even press 3rd. They're a tough one for me. They're a tough one for me. That was you. So what are we thinking? What are we thinking about the old Chicago Bulls? Couple of huge moves this offseason. One not so big, but one bold kind of steal that no one really saw coming. Dwayne Wade,
yeah, going back home. That's really strange seeing him in the red Bulls uniform.
Literally, I'd rather see him in that than a Pelicans jersey or even a blue Magic.
But I don't think that was that one of his destinations.
No.
It was the Nuggets, right?
Yeah, it was the Nuggets.
Why
that
in the world would he go to the Nuggets?
that would have looked really bad. But it does. It looks weird, and they're now throwing a 1-2-3 punch of Rondo, Wade, Butler.
Just zero spacing.
No spacing. No outside shooting at all.
And we were talking about this earlier, but those guys, they all need the ball in their hand to be successful.
Exactly. And we've seen Rondo in the past, Dallas mostly, Sacramento a little bit, pouting. He's saying all the right things in the media. They're encouraging each other to shoot outside shots. I can encourage you to go and do anything. Does that mean it's going to go well? Probably not.
You're in trouble when in your starting lineup, Mirotic is your best 3-point.
Well, you're in trouble when your probably best shooter on the team is Doug McDermott. That's just
that guy's a liability.
It's not going to end well. Even Tony Snell can probably shoot better than all those guys.
Is it?
Their center is Robin Lopez.
Okay, Rolo,
came over in the Rose trade.
Okay,
we'll talk about that later for sure.
I like Rolo-ish. He's just average, He's he's a decent defender.
The thing about them is, what if they may have time? They have to have a shooter at all times. It's Mirotic and McDermott are really their only guys. But what if they're throwing Taj Gibson out there with Rolo and these three? It's just going to be their defense. I'm sure will be solid. Rondo's pesky. Wade's always in the leader in steals.
Yeah.
Jimmy's a stud. But oh boy,
offensively that paint is going to be so clogged, especially with Taj and Rolo in the mix there. That's a disaster.
This team's going to have some bad wins. This team will have nights where they cannot make shots. They'll barely crack 80, and they'll lose to some bad teams.
Oh, definitely.
That's playoffs. That's a stretch for me. Stretch for me for the Bulls.
Speaking of Rolo, sorry to bring this back, but why this just occurred to me? What's going to happen to him and Benny the Bull? Are they gonna get
I don't
along?
know. Yeah, I guess that was like one of the first ones, that he tried to beat up. They'll do something funny, I'm sure. He'll make up, and then they'll both beat on one of the, I don't know, they'll beat on the Pelican, who's like the worst mascot in sports.
That's like the greatest like long running gag, I think, in the NBA.
I don't get that guy. Rolo's a weird. Those Lopez brothers just seem like weird.
They're lovable.
But I mean, speaking of Rolo, coming over in the trade, one of the bigger trades of the offseason, along with the Ibaka to Magic, that we can talk about maybe later. But Derrick Rose, New York, Joakim Noah, New York, a couple other big pickups, Courtney Lee, Brandon Jennings. What are we thinking ceiling wise for the Knicks? How high can they go? How low could they go?
They all seem pretty confident from their comments in the press.
The super team comment by Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
That they're equivalent of a super team to the Warriors somehow.
Did he say that?
Yeah. Don't know what he's smoking, but I'd like some. It's not gonna happen.
No. I can't see that line going far. Joakim Noah is washed up now. Porzingis though, bright future ahead of him.
Oh, I am so high on him.
Yeah.
I mean, him and Towns, I think, are the by far two best under 22, 23 guys.
Definitely. I think Karl Anthony Towns is even a notch higher.
Well, he's going to be.
We can talk.
He's going to be a world. He's a world destroyer. You can talk for hours, but this Knicks team, the fans are always crazy. It's a big media city, and I don't know.
Yeah, I mean the fans. This is actually one of the more exciting Knicks teams that's ever since like the JR days.
Oh yeah, well I mean very true. I mean
this is the most exciting Knicks team that they put out, and I think those fans will love it, especially Derrick Rose if he gets past this whole trial thing that I don't want to get into.
Yeah, we're not getting into that today.
But,
thing is, though, I mean, this team on paper back in 2010, 2011, yeah, you think that this team could probably win the championship.
back in 2011,
I mean, Joakim Noah was a top 5 MVP. He was in the top 5 in MVP voting.
Yeah,
he was
totally.
He was a monster. And Derrick Rose, obviously, before the injuries, could have been one of, if not one of, the best player in the league.
And Melo, just one of
Melo's always a scoring stud, but
flat-out scorers in the league.
Unfortunately, a couple injuries. 5 years later, this is the team. So on paper, it looks nice, but the expectations are a bit high.
They could sneak in to the playoffs, honestly. 8th seed, maybe, squeak in. I could see it.
Is there a chance that Brandon Jennings gets to start at the end of the season above Rose?
Above Rose.
Do you think they just won't do it?
You mean just regardless of injury?
Regardless of injury. I mean, honestly.
Let's say Derrick Rose has a completely healthy season.
Say Derrick Rose has good. They both are healthy and they both play well. Is there any way that you could see Jennings passing him? Being a better player for the system. Yeah. He's a better passer.
He's a better passer.
More of a playmaker. Derrick Rose.
I mean, Derrick Rose still is a very good passer too. He's a very good playmaker. He makes those super in the air, contorting his body, passes that no one else has.
That's when he comes down on his left foot and twists his knee again. There he goes, a whole other season, and New York fans rip him to shreds.
We'll see. Brandon Jennings is a good pickup. Forgot that they had.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Joakim Noah just went home. So on the topic of going home, Dwight Howard, Atlanta Hawks, replacing Al Horford, starting in the center next to Paul Millsap. Pretty good partner.
Yeah.
Stretches the floor.
Oh yeah.
Is this finally the situation that calms Dwight down and makes him realize he's not the best player on the team?
I don't know how he's going to fit in that team, honestly, with Coach Bud. I don't know what he has in mind with Dwight and the whole system that they run. But, I don't think Dwight's going to do very well there.
No. It's a Spursian system.
Yeah.
So, could you imagine Popovich coaching Tim Duncan? Or it's not Tim Duncan. Coaching Dwight Howard. It would be a media nightmare.
Yeah.
It would be the biggest story, and he would hate it. But no, it's not going to be good. That Atlanta team, Dennis Schroeder now starting as well, kind of some uncertainty. Korver's older, coming off a bad year. was not shooting well. The 3 is Kent Bazemore. He's good.
Yeah, he's a good, energetic dude.
But
maybe not started.
Paul Millsap, I mean, he's coming into last year of his contract. He's gonna be looking at this situation like, oh no.
He's gonna get big payday.
Yeah. And I mean, Dwight may love that. I mean, Paul could leave, and Dwight could then think he's now officially the man. But that's the thing. Without Jeff Teague on his team, Dennis Schroeder, maybe like he's definitely not the man. Paul Millsap's the best guy, but does that make Dwight the number 2? That's puts him right back in Houston. James Harden number 1. He's number 2. Is he going to expect post touches? Is he going to start shooting?
Definitely. I'm sure they must have pitched that to him when he went over in free agency.
Well, I mean, that's that whole DeAndre Jordan getting told by Mark Cuban and the Mavs that he'll be getting plays run for him. And then clearly that was just a hoax to give a sign. But I don't know. I think that's going to be an absolute flame out. You have anything else? Maybe something more positive?
Speaking of NBA centers, who I think are making a comeback lately, because this is like the point guard era. You have your Steph Currys, you have your Damian Lillards, your Chris Pauls, Westbrook,
John Wall.
John Wall.
There's tons of guys. There's tons of guys.
But I think we're going to see the return of the big man soon.
Ooh, I like it.
Joel Embiid.
Oh.
Is that positive?
The social media darling. I love this guy.
Yeah, he's great.
I mean, all those workout videos of him playing against a chair and a 5'5" guy. I mean, he rips them up.
Oh yeah,
he looks great. But jokes aside, I mean, he has the tools. He has the tools.
He is a physical specimen.
And I would love him to become that top center that he shows that he can, just because if he keeps up with this personality and trolls people on Instagram and tweets at Rihanna, that'll just make him great. He'll be the best superstar in the world because he will have no filter and not give a shit.
Yeah.
And I like that.
That's true. And just his offensive game is just insanely polished, and he hasn't even played a real NBA game. Well, preseason doesn't really count. But yeah, he looked pretty good in his preseason game.
He looked great. I mean, that one dunk, that he came down the lane pretty hard.
Yeah, who were they playing? I remember, I think it was I think Chris Anderson was about to go and contest that.
Was it Birdman? Okay, they were playing Cleveland then.
Was it Cleveland?
Birdman's on the Cavs now. That was huge, and that was like the first play of the game. It's like 20 seconds in.
His first basket was like a really nice turnaround fadeaway kind of like hook jumper thing. Yeah, looked really nice.
I mean, in Kansas, he was shooting threes. If he can shoot from outside, then the Philly future.
I don't think he'll be shooting threes quite yet.
No,
he definitely.
But if he can make a solid 16-footer,
yeah, totally.
That Philly's future looks great. I mean, obviously,
it really sucks about Ben. Yeah,
that's fine. Take a year off. Let Saric and Embiid kind of.
Yeah, but that's also the question. Noel and Okafor are both super healthy too. They might just run like an all big lineup. Sarge at the point.
See the thing. Well, they got Bayless now. They got Jared Bayless. So if it was the old Hinkie regime, I wouldn't put it past them to put 5 centers out there. Which Dario Saric is 6'10".
I want to see a good 5 minutes of that lineup.
See the thing, that idea is on the same level as the Kings' old 5-on-4 with the cherry picker idea, and it's not quite as stupid, but it would be laughable. With it, as I was saying,
they could play Covington at 2. They could do. Nerlens is speedy enough to play at 3.
Do not put that gangly guy at 3.
They put Okafor at the 4.
His
and
legs will
Embiid
snap.
at the 5.
His legs will snap.
I want to see it.
If it was the Hinkie regime, he might play that for 20 minutes a game because they don't really give a shit. But now with Clanjo, I think one of those guys is out of there. Probably Okafor.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's no way they can all survive. Probably Okafor because Noel is probably a better partner alongside Embiid.
I don't know where you could really send Okafor. I mean, no one needs a guy like that. I mean, he'd be good off bench and as Cantor kind of style, but I don't know if he's starting big. He's got no D.
No D.
And his scoring isn't even like.
Well, I mean,
impressive.
He is really
He's got a good
watch.
touch.
He looks like watching him is like watching a ballet. He's incredible. He's got incredible.
You cannot
footwork.
say that his.
Yes, I can watch like a 10-minute highlight reel of just
his
Embiid,
footwork.
Not Embiid, sorry.
Okafor
footwork and like hook shots.
I think Embiid's footwork is better.
No,
I think it is
not better than Okafor. No,
he kind of has the lateral movement down a little more than him.
The lateral, yeah. I mean, sure, but like no, his Okafor's footwork and his ability to just trick defenders and just hold on to the ball just like a second longer. I think he's more polished offensively, at least around the rim than Embiid.
I don't know. I wish that Embiid didn't.
We haven't even seen Embiid play.
No, I mean, no. Just some preseason games, but no one can take anything from the preseason other than the Warriors crushing the Clips. But that was the only real thing. We're winding down here. I'm thinking maybe I'll just pitch you a couple questions and see what you have answers for. Maybe some predictions, some awards, maybe. If you have to pick the MVP top 3 in voting, how the media will rank it. I mean, they do a top 5. Let's just do a top 3. Who are your 3? You can do it whatever order you want, or just say I'm ordering them after. Let's see what you got.
You want me to just go?
Just off the cuff. I mean, what you got? Who do you think will have MVP caliber seasons?
It really does depend on seeding, I think. Because the last however many years, when has an MVP been named MVP without being outside of the top 2 seed? I think that the MVP that's a requirement. You have to be at least the top 1 or 2 seed in your conference.
Well, you got to make your team win.
So with that being said, I'm gonna go. LeBron has to be up there. I think he'll cool it down a little bit, but he'll still put up LeBron numbers. He'll still have 25,
He's still the
6 and 6. But outside of LeBron, so he's a lock for me. Steph Curry and Kevin Durant will kind of be splitting votes a little bit, and I'm just going to leave those 2 out because they will get the 1 seed. There's pretty much no question about it. But sneaky one is Kyle Lowry. Depending on how well the Raptors do, I think Kyle Lowry could have.
Does he put up the kind of stat line though?
He did last year. Honestly, he was phenomenal. Last year was his best year.
The Raps in my mind are the second best team still in the East, ahead of the Celtics. But I mean, the thing is that Harden could be the 8th best team in the West, and his numbers might crush him. He might be putting up close to 30 a game with 11 assists.
What if they don't make the playoffs? There's no way
then
Harden.
he's out.
Yeah, and let's say Westbrook squeaks. Let's say the Thunder squeak into the top 4, 3, maybe. Yeah, maybe Westbrook. But I think his efficiency is going to go way down.
Oh, but Westbrook's a big fancy idea. I mean, it's pretty basic on paper. Durant leaves, Russell gets more chances. That's it. But without Durant, a lot more attention. He's not my MVP.
He'll get doubled everywhere.
He'll get triple doubles, but he'll also get 8 turnovers, 9 turnovers sometimes, and
shooting 40%.
Unless he can lead them to the 4th seed, I think that's the minimum where they'll start to give him a look. I don't think he is. So you had LeBron, he's in there.
Yeah, Kyle
Lowry is a low key.
Let's just throw out another name. I don't know.
So what about? I mean, we can agree the East is Cleveland, Boston, Toronto. What if Indiana can crack into those 2-3?
I was just about to say Paul George.
Paul George.
They surrounded him with a really solid team. I think with good talent, and he can play his natural position now. No more Paul George.
Yeah, hopefully. Sorry, Larry. I mean, I love Larry Legend.
Not starting, just not prolonged starting minutes. But yeah, they have Jeff Teague. Jefferson.
I'm not a Monte guy. He's too small at the 2 and no defense.
I have to love the guy because he's a Warrior, but he's just not the greatest fit alongside Paul.
No, but at least they've got guys on.
Neither is Jeff Teague, honestly.
They've got guys on the defensive end though that can help out. I mean, Jeff's no shrimp. He's not an idiot on defense, but he's average.
I think George Hill was a very good
George.
player.
If they had kept him, that would have been great. But
they got Thad Young.
Exactly. Thad Young at the 4, great guy, great floor spacer.
And rebound.
And Miles Turner. Miles Turner, one more year, Miles.
Turner, yeah.
I mean, he could make the jump.
Yeah,
he was showing good.
I think the problem with him is that he always got into foul trouble. Yeah, he could block shots, he can hit threes, but he always got himself into a little bit of foul trouble. But yeah, if the Pacers can make that leap to 2-3 seed, which I think they definitely can. Paul George has an entire season under his belt now. He started last season very, very hot. Like alongside Steph Curry, those two were like neck and neck with in the MVP talks last season. So then he kind of fizzled out a little bit as Steph kind of remains
Steph. He remained himself.
So I think that since he has that whole season, just kind of getting back to speed, getting his body stronger, I think that he could totally be an MVP candidate.
Now, you're saying top 2 teams in each conference will play. That's who gets looked at. What about Kawhi Leonard?
I was thinking about him, but
does he put up the production?
I don't think he can. Like he is good offensively. He's a very good defender, but I don't know if he can lead a team, especially not. He's not flashy.
No,
and the media doesn't really. He's kind of really quiet and kind of keeps to himself. So I feel like that definitely has a play.
And I mean, there's nothing wrong with him, obviously. I mean, he's won championships. He's a Finals MVP. He's a great player. He's going to go in the Hall of Fame. But I don't think so.
I don't know where the Spurs will end up. I don't know if they're the 2, 3 seed, 4.
They are interesting. I mean, they lost Boban Marjanovic. I mean, that's got to take you down, right? Along with some guy named Tim Duncan. He's gone too.
Right.
But Tony, Manu, another year. Everyone always counts them out year after year, and they always come back and dominate and prove the critics wrong. But come on, it's got to happen. They're teetering on the edge.
Right? Yeah.
That cliff is right there.
If not this year, then maybe in 5 years.
Yeah. I mean, what, man will be 45 by then? 44? He must be 38, 39 at this point. That guy's been around for a while. But
not 38, 39 though. He's probably like a bit younger. I think Biggs had a bit more longevity.
Let's do one last award prediction just for fun. Why not? What's a fun Rookie of the Year? Rookie of the Year is pretty good. Or should we do something else? We kind of already talked about it. Defensive. It's Kawhi or Draymond.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just it. What about Coach of the Year?
Coach of the
Do
Year?
you think does Steve Kerr just kind of, or do they finally give him the okay, man, look at the squad you have. Let's dial it back. I mean, he's a great coach, but
I mean, if they can bust out another 67, 66 win season, it's probably going to go.
It's in the cards. I mean, before the Reggie Jackson injury, which we didn't really bring up, I wish I had, but I thought that Detroit could have been higher up in the seedings, and maybe Stan gets a little shout just because they're not anywhere near equivalent to the other teams above them. But yeah, I don't know. Dwayne Casey maybe. Toronto has a good season. Maybe could steal the first seed.
I think that Dwayne Casey's all that good of a coach.
No.
I don't know.
I mean, continuity though. I mean, he's been there for years. They've steadily gotten better and better. Conference final last year.
If the Trailblazers can continue their
ascent,
their ascent. Yeah, if they continue on the same path that they were on last year, because they look great. They look really good. I don't really know who they picked up this year. They picked up Festus
off bench. They got Evan Turner.
Sure. But yeah, no, Terry Stotts is, I think, super underlooked as a coach, and he is one of the better coaches in the league. For sure.
They did make that jump. I mean, they went.
No one expected them to make playoffs.
What are they? People were guessing 30 wins, maybe. And
they made it to the second round. Put up a decent fight against the Warriors, the defending champs.
Yeah. I mean, off some luck from the Clippers.
Yeah.
Clippers injuries, but still, I mean, that happens. That's life. But either that or maybe good old Coach Brad out in Brad Stevens in Boston.
Possibly.
I mean, they're kind of an it team right now. They're coming up. Al Horford, big pickup, but
I think they still need a couple more years before they start to really contend.
And one more blockbuster.
Yeah.
They gotta. They're swinging every year. They're swinging. It's gonna.
They took a pretty big risk with Jaylen Brown. Actually, I like the pick, but
it's a risk.
Definitely a work in progress.
It's a risk, but at least they have Jay Crowder in that spot. They weren't drafting a guy where they're like, we need you to play the 3. We need you to play big minutes late in the playoffs. LeBron James guarding. Like
that's fair.
They have Jay at least, but there's not much else you can do with that. Yeah. Do you got anything else?
Any final thoughts? I did kind of want to talk about the Clippers a little bit. Just like going into this season. I think that this could potentially be the Clippers' last season as we knew it. This team, Lob City, this whole thing. How long has it been now? 5 years?
Lob City has been at least 5 years. When Chris came over after that failed Laker trade. Yeah, 5 years.
Basketball reasons. Yeah, so 5 years of Lob City, and they haven't done a whole lot.
No, they've done nothing.
Although they're still probably they might be the second best team in the West.
They can be. They're definitely my third. I think I still have them on the Spurs.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, you can't ever count out the Spurs. But I mean, the Clippers, they should definitely make some noise. Like last year, they were expected to go pretty far.
Yeah,
I think we got robbed of the Clippers and Warriors.
The thing about the Clippers is it's Doc Rivers. I mean, he's re-signing his son to big money instead of really chasing that wing that everyone knows they've needed since it started, 4 or 5 years ago. And
I was so convinced that Wilson Chandler was going to get traded.
Oh, that would have been great. He'd fit great. I mean, Denver still needs to dump him.
Yeah, everyone always forgets about Wilson Chandler, but he's a very solid wing.
Yeah, he's a 3-and-D guy, specialist for sure. But the thing about them is Steve Ballmer's their owner. He's not a basketball guy. He's just
but
he's an outgoing rich guy.
I think that's...
Is he willing to dump Doc Rivers? Doc Rivers' name alone still carries weight, no matter how little he's done since the 2008 championship.
No, Doc Rivers is with that team to stay.
But then does Doc Rivers blow it up? Does he trade Blake? I mean, Blake could just leave.
I think after this season, they gotta. And I actually think that they stick with Blake just because he's younger, and I think he has a bit more potential than Chris at this stage in their careers.
But you're gonna re-sign Blake and let Chris walk? I think he's done this summer. I think that's it.
I would love to see Blake anchor a team, just like.
Then you just have Blake and DJ.
Blake running a team is so much fun to watch. When Chris Paul was out last season, it was a lot of fun to watch.
I mean, as much as I love to rag on the Clippers and hate on them for different reasons, they're a great basketball team. JJ Redick's great, but he's another guy. He's going to be a free agent this summer. Like they're major changes this summer if they don't win anything. If they can't make it out the first round again. Big pressure, Austin Rivers.
Yeah.
Big pressure.
I'm thinking they got to blow it up, right?
Yeah, unless Austin Rivers shows that he's the new MVP of the team, they trade Chris mid-season to the Cavs and go from there. But I think at that point we're starting to just ramble. Let's cut it off there. Allan, thanks for coming on. First podcast. How'd you feel? It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Well,
thanks.
We'll have to keep this going, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Peace.